So we move on to our next question, which is looking at the access to education, the impact. COVID's impact on education, and the impact of Brexit on education. This worded a bit weird, but yeah. So we talk about things like remote learning, etc.
Yeah. So first of all, I'll start a bit with COVID quickly to cover. A lot of people, yes, started to do it online, which in a way, yes, is for safety reason. I agree with that. But there were issues with education like that. First of all, it increased inequality because not all the people have access to a computer and not everyone has the facility. Sometimes schools were able to provide these materials or devices to students.
It wasn't enough.
But not all of the schools have enough money, to do that.
Yeah, and it wasn't enough. And I covered a video where one of the companies the government had asked to hand out the laptops was a really weird company which wasted a lot of money and did not give laptops that were good enough to kids. You had kids writing essays on phones, which is ridiculous and extremely difficult to do. I can't imagine how hard that would be. Device.
Yes.
You had households which just didn't have enough devices to do the learning that kids needed to do, and they've been put behind a lot because of this. And I have no idea how they're going to catch up.
It has issues, and to be honest, there were other issues. For example, many students were listening to their class, but also opening Facebook or other social media while listening. So
yeah,
they need to know how to self-regulate their time.
But they're kids. That's why you have a teacher. Kid, in IT class, when you end up playing games, your teacher's like, you need to get on with your work, and if you have time at the end, you can, get away with playing games. That's why you have a teacher.
Yes, increased anxiety, mental health, but also from teachers' side, many of them didn't have the digital skills needed. A lot of anxiety, definitely, and a lot of amount of hours increased.
My cousin was telling me they managed to mute his teacher or something like that, or his teacher didn't realise he was muted for about 15 minutes. Some of the kids were allowed to be moderators, so they kicked out other kids for no reason. Just absolute chaos, and he's happy to be back in school. I think all my younger cousins are happy to be back in school. What do you think the impact of Brexit is going to be? Oh, sorry, the one final point to make is that university students who had to access articles, especially ones from China and other censored states, couldn't access The Guardian, which I found hilarious. So my brother was telling me about it. His teacher had to send a screenshot to the student because he couldn't read the article.
Poor people, poor people. There are some of the websites we use or are used in the Western side hemisphere are not really allowed in China.
Yeah, so you need a VPN. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
VPN, yes.
Yeah. What impact do you think Brexit had on education then?
Ooh, that one affected mostly the higher education. First of all, because oh god, wait a minute. Where was my mind? So first of all, around people coming from UK to studying here for this year decreased by about 57%. First of all, because they didn't have access to home fees, and that would be translated at around 62 million loss for the government itself. Main reason for people from European Union not coming in here is because it's expensive. Having this loan, people were able to repay it back for years. And not all the countries which are part of European Union are shiny and even part of middle economic, like our middle developed, or how do you call them, developed societies.
They are poorer countries, right, who don't always have the funds for things.
Yes, and that was definitely a downside. And some of the students that are already in here and are part of the big universities, I don't want to say any name,
Northampton University.
No, not Northampton University.
Georgia, that was your moment to pick up the university. Come on, man. We both graduated from there, Georgia. Okay.
Yes, but I won't say that in this one you can see that discrimination towards European Union people. students, and this was a factor that affected them to go back to their countries.
Yeah, a massive amount of xenophobia really pushed people out of the country.
Yes.
And kind of when we talk about the deficit within the NHS, that was also a factor as well of people leaving because they just didn't feel welcome, which was a massive failing of the government. We've spoken about the impact on education Brexit and COVID had.